Ladies and gents, welcome back to the GMODISM channel. This is your host Eric, and we're back here. So, let's look at the dice Gesellschaft mit beschränkter Haftung modular laser system. That's a mouthful. So some of you believe I'm German. I'm not, but I think the German version of Inc. Incorporated, or like yeah, there are some different LLC is the English. There are different in different countries. AB is in Swedish, aktiebolag, but German, they're just killing it. Why? So GmbH is complex enough, and that stands for Gesellschaft mit beschränkter Haftung. Why? Why is it so long? It's stupid, so I love to use it. That's the company name behind this series of laser components which I've developed. I started a long time ago and it's been sitting on my hard drive, and finally it's done. So we're gonna go through it. This is not the final saved down version. I have the saved down version. This is the jumbled mess that I wanted you to look through first, however. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Hate on Imgur. That's why we host our own images now. But in any case, this is a modular laser system, all right? I shared some posts on it before. I don't know if it was only for our supporters or if it was public. I don't remember. But if you've seen a picture of it, that's what it is. And it's now finished. That's what I've been saying now for a couple of times. So we have armor components, we have EMP insulation components. This is some old stuff. We then have the copper units. So here we have a copper series of couplers. Then after the couplers, we have the different modules of different stuff with different stats. And we of course have the laser core. So I have a standardized laser core that looks like this, available in box or without the box. And then we have the quite intricate connection system. So it's like a puzzle piece where we piece together. Yeah, and this video will also be a little bit good because then I will show each of the prefabs, and if something doesn't work, we'll notice it in this video. It should work, however, of course, but yeah. And then we have some other connection stuff as well for connecting laser transceivers with each other. Yeah. You know what? I think we should load in the recent version. It was a challenge to name each of the individual file for the dice Gesellschaft mit beschränkter Haftung modular laser system. Yeah, it look at this. We go to laser, and here we have it. This is the Lazarus system, which is a lot simpler. You've probably seen it. It's on the Gimel class, for example. Here we have a lasered armor system, 100k capacity inside the armored box like this. But it's, of course, you can use the systems with each other. It's just that I found that this, from experience, this is very handy to just plonk down. But honestly, these batteries are a bit too long, which kind of causes vulnerability despite the armor. So we opted for some alloy armor and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna load in the updated version where I basically just removed most of the things. Yeah, so that we can make way for this thing, which is a little tutorial platform thing. In any case, you might understand dice. That is because these little modules are like square shaped, usually a box shaped, not square, not box, cube shaped. I'm looking for, and these are cube shaped too. There's a lot of cube shapes all around the place. Yeah, so I don't know why I saved down this version. This is pretty useless. Let us look at the actual prefabs instead. But what I can say is we have the dice, we have the connectors, flat series, X3 and X4 systems. Yep. So when I tried to save this down the first time, I did actually want to have the Gesellschaft mit beschränkter Haftung or whatever that was called in the name. But it turns out that the folders within the folders, they were so long, probably that started to give me errors because I have too many folders within folders in my prefab. I think I'm abusing the prefab menu, to be honest. By the way, all of these things are accessible to the commissioned officers in the Army of GMODISM, which we should say big thanks to. As of this recording, Admiral Dragon X62, Commanders Ben, Wilkie, and Delphin, Lieutenants Ali, Anto, Cravey, Flarsdag, and Danny Sakin, Owen, Pyroby Greed, Vincent Veritas, Volkite, Rick Prell, and Scoobrocks, and of course, to our member of the Government of GMODISM, Chancellor Super Dave. You all can, of course, access these files in the downloadable things. The Government of GMODISM has access to the from depth files as well, if you didn't know that. But in any case, this is the DICE GmbH modular laser system, and we actually provided a little modular laser system demo tutorial, which we'll just look on briefly because I feel like this is for people who don't have this nice looking platform, which you can of course download in the workshop. Or if you are the said support categories, you of course have it in the downloadable folder with all the prefabs, turrets and fleets. But whatever. When you spawn it in, it basically says welcome to DICE GmbH laser MLS, okay. The laser core controls pumps via transceiver. Copper parts should be placed first, then laser link in Tetris. Copper and pump parts are made into H and I Tetris variants. It is possible to go from H to I variants, but not vice versa. So you can't go from I to H connections because that won't work. We hope you will enjoy Lasing Heretics of the Army of GMODISM. Isn't that beautiful? So here we have the laser core exposed with some links going up to this thing, which is the laser link. And here we have the copper part, which you should place first. And then we have the pumps. And here we have a H system pump. And here we have an I version. Yeah, and we got some examples of some of the armors, installations on there. But in any case, you can look at the tutorial a little bit more in detail yourselves. Yeah. So here we have the laser core. And we have armored variants as well. So we have a light armored core just within these little and we have a heavy armored core within heavy armor instead. For easy accessibility, I'm gonna use the exposed core so we can look at it a little bit more easily. And yeah, we're just going to spawn the laser core in this corner. So here we can see we have connection points ready made. So it's forward, backwards and upwards. This can of course be configured very easily. So we can make it connect to the side here instead. And we use the double link connection to remove the single little weak point that usually messes it up for people. Because, you know, we don't want things to be messed up. And then we have this is a large folder. It has been a lot of work to fix the DICE GmbH MLS system. Right, so we have the flat series. And in the flat series, we basically don't have that many different things. We have also combined the connection points. As you can see here, we have a 5-wide system and a very thin version. So the 2 flat series is for like really flat designs where you only have 2 blocks high to use, but it can still be a little bit handy to use prefabs like that. If you're gonna use a 1 high system, it's actually very much, you don't need prefabs. It's so easy to just put it together. Like your only options, if you want a 1 high system, your only options is to use the cavities like this and just laser pumps like this. You don't have a lot of things to, like, yeah. It will be very inefficient if you start to play around with other shapes. So yeah, at least from what I know. Right, so here we have the Tetris 5-wide. And this is the copper connection, which is the first thing we should start with. And they are placed forwards like this. So you can put it here. And then we have the 5-wide Tetris. And we don't have a lot for the 5-wide. We basically only have 1 type of Tetris available, which is this one. So it is boosted with intensifiers. So it is an intense system. You can see it's called 5-wide Tetris, 540 power per piece and 3000 energy. And it's intense. That it is intense means that it also includes cavities. No, frequency doublers. I'm sorry. It includes frequency doublers. It uses the cavity with some storage in it. But we have frequency doublers to make it a little bit more intense. Now, I didn't know this until recently, but when you're building with laser frequency doublers, the frequency doublers have to have the same Q as the laser beam system, otherwise it won't work. So as you can see here for the Q1 connection, even though this particular laser copper is only connected up to a frequency doubler, it still has a Q switch, because otherwise this intensity won't be added to the main laser beam. And I just recently understood that this is the case. Oh yeah, and we of course have connection pieces, which I can show you here. So if we go to connectors, we have simple transceiver connectors. So this is like an L connection, but it's made inside a little hub here. You don't have to have the armor underneath it. It is built so that you can paste it down just like this, and it will be flush to the surface as well. A lot of people have a misconception, maybe it's Martin Zero's fault, I don't know, but laser transceivers are not EMP susceptible. They were a long time ago. No, I think they didn't even, I don't think they was that a long time ago either. Laser transceivers, some people believe, are susceptible to EMP. It's not true. The laser pumps are. But fortunately, EMP can't travel wirelessly via laser transceiver connections, so that's good. Now, this piece is not EMP insulated, but it was just for, yeah. It was just so that you would know. The game mechanic. Now, we don't really build with that game mechanic in this example, because of course, I'm just showcasing you the pieces. We're not building a vehicle here, so things are EMP susceptible. I'm using the T connection, however, so that we can show you some other of the connectors here. So they are named pretty simple like this, and this is like the simple connection, just like this. And we then have a special little transceiver, which is more armored. And this is called the 2-weapon output. So it only has a laser transceiver pointing upwards towards the turret, so it doesn't link back to anything. So this is only to connect up to a weapon. I'm thinking that we should indeed make a little weapon here to showcase whatever we got here. Just do like this, and like this, and a laser combiner, and just some armored laser optics. Something like that. So, if we activate the platform here, we can then perhaps set this to 4 or something, a little lower, something like that. So, as said, here inside the laser core we have a output regulator. It is set to output max by default. And as you can see here, when we're looking at this, we have 15,000 and we have a firepower with intensity of 109. So we have a lot of intensity. If we were to fire this, we are burning through. It's not a huge laser system, but you can see it's doing considerable damage. Zoop, cutting through like that. If we're up against heavy armor even, it does do full damage. So it will take some time to deal with heavy armor per se, but it is doing full damage to heavy armor thanks to this built-in intensity. And this is a little bit like all of the modular systems work. Now, I'm gonna show you most of them, of course, but not like each and every single little thing, but a lot of them. So, we should already look at the dual links. We have a dual link transceiver. These are the real lookers. Laser dual links with a big, beautiful showcase like that. Here we have up, down like this. So that's just a little connection. And then I made the tall connections too for the most common connection types to connect up all around using the double link system. And just place one here for fun. But in any case, we have more things in the flat system which are a little bit more, well, should we say, adaptable or customizable? Right, so we have Q0, Q1, and Q2. So let us select a little Q2 system. And we're gonna connect up to this here. So this is gonna be our little Q2. You can see each of them, they share the Q switches, so each of them are connected up to 2. And inside this really flat system, now the 5 wide I'm not very proud of, it's pretty basic. I'm a little bit more proud of these. Here we have 180 power and 3000 stored laser. Just like this. Pretty neat and pretty simple, but I kinda enjoy that design. Then we have an energy intense, and here we're starting to get advanced, where you can see I'm alternating frequency doublers here to boost up the frequency doubling inside it. And then I have the same setup, but instead of using the frequency doublers, we instead have destabilizer. So these will effectively destabilize the laser. Just like that. Yeah, it has less storage, those units, of course, but we can just temporarily disconnect this and make our zoop, zoop. And see if it, I don't know how much damage each of these. Yeah, it actually does some pretty scary damage. Now we're shooting at a very, very thick block. Let's shoot at something smaller. So mashing through metal here. I think we're... Of course, when you shoot for a while, you run out of beam energy. And you can set up pulse lasers in a better way. So that they are pulsing a little bit neater. Like here, laser... no, it's actually... inside the regulator. Minimum charge before firing burst. Set it to 50%. We can say when you fire a burst, it will slow down the bursting whenever it... I can see now it kind of stopped to refill, I suppose. Something like that. Pulse lasers, we're gonna deal with that a little bit more. I kind of use Q0 lasers a lot just because they have the... You don't need intensity things, whatever are they called? Frequency doublers. You don't need a frequency doublers, which increase the intensity of the laser. Since a pulse laser have 40 intensity and a Q0 laser, a non-pulse laser, has 60, which means that any good old Q0 laser will deal full damage against heavy armor, and you don't need to do anything. And if you want the same type of damage for pulse laser, you need to add these guys, and they of course cost 250 materials per piece. Yes. And this is like a microcosmos for the 3x3 variant, which is the really large folder like this. It has subfolders, that's how large it is. We're gonna look a little bit briefly on the Q4 system. So the Q4 system is pretty straightforward. I don't feel particularly... I mean, sure, it's good when you need it, but it is a little bit unadaptable since you can't do a lot with the Tetris. It's a pretty basic standardized Tetris, which, like, I didn't invent this, but I've seen people use it, so yeah. I think it's actually in one of the prefabs here. I think the pre-game, the in-game files show you how to make it. Is it this one? Yeah, here we have it. Yeah, there it is. So it's that Tetris. But we're gonna load my modules. So here we have the DICE GMBH. MLS is for multi-laser system. 4S, that's because it's the 4. It is the 4 system. 4x4. 4 series, I mean. And the ones here, the 2S, that's because it's the 2 series, the 2 flat. And here is the 4 series. So, when it comes to these, we actually only have one available Tetris. Yeah, you can like extend it how little or how much you want. So it's pretty basic like that, but and it doesn't add any intensity boosts and stuff like that. When we're trying to do that, we kind of end up with a not as efficient Tetris. This is like the way to do it for 4x4. So this is 4 times 4, so it will fit most areas. And the nice thing is that we can do a pretty nice little ducted armor slab for this. Now I did place this straight on the surface, so I'll just spawn this in the air. This is the end duct. And this is the, like, we can just add them with 5 at once, and we have an EMP insulated little thing with surge protectors standing on the ground like this. And as long as these sides aren't connected to anything, this battery, if placed inside of it, will be completely EMP protected, which is very nice. Very easy to set up like that. Then we have also, I just provided some rubber sleeves if you want to have some EMP protection yourself. Like, you may think this is useless. I don't think so. Because I think that when you have this type of rubber sleeve, it's for a reason actually. When you are playing this game and you are clicking the gear icon, rubber still remains. So if you want to see your laser system, you have to have the wedges, because if you build solid boxes for EMP protection, your laser systems will be kind of invisible. So this is what I do for the AI systems as well. This is an earlier video. I may have shown that on the GMODISM channel, by the way, which you should subscribe to if you haven't. But I basically have this modular laser system already built for AI. And it's called the Army of GMODISM Mice Modular AI system. So here we have like all sorts of modular pieces you can stack together like that. And they also have armor. So mice. Let's see where we have the armor. Perhaps they should be in a folder. Here we have an armor module. The AI is pretty important. So here we have some really hardcore armor for this. But you can see we utilized with that type of rubber inside of it too. Yeah, well, anyways, this laser will of course be an absolute killer, I believe. Actually, we can just flip this around and just let it unload. You can see. I'm sure it's gonna get... Oh, it can actually uphold this energy for quite some time. That's nice. You know, to make a crazy pierce laser of this, we should just be able to add a couple of destabilizers. And then we should like unload the laser a lot faster. Oh yes, look at that. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, this Tetris ain't bad. It's just not a preference. You can see that's how long it could go. Then it just went out. Fizzled out a bit. What am I deleting? Okay. We should move back to the... What the hell? Right. Have I showed you this? The Satellite 5 GPPP processing unit. I made a tiny little... it stands on wood. So it's kinda EMP insulated. And it just provides you 5... or this might actually connect to the underside a little bit. So this is not really EMP protected actually. But it is an armored remote little thing. And if you want to EMP protect this, you can place it on a rubber piece. You need a very small rubber piece to EMP insulate this. Just like this. Oh, that's heavy armor. That's the wrong thing. Oh yeah, you actually... It looks like they have connection points that are larger than they are, but they are not. It's like this, right? Actually, it's like that. All right. That's how you make it EMP insulated. But we shouldn't even be looking at that. Let's move back to the laser system. The dies. So we looked at the 2 flat and the 4 series. Now we come to the big one, the 2 series. So we have armor, where we have different types of armor. We got the rubber sleeves for these ones as well. Can well be used for other EMP sensitive equipment as well. We have the duct armor. The duct armor is less optimal, but we can just spawn one so you can see how easy it is to use. It's just a tube like this, and like if you spawn anything that's not increments of 15, you get into some troubles. But it's easy to close off, just like that. Very nice. Then we have a little end piece That's for the alloy armor. Now I'm mixing things together. So here we have the alloy armor. That's the end piece. Not to mix up with the duct variant. And it basically looks like this. It's a little bit more low profile. So the under piece of the armor is actually full rubber blocks. And then we have the small portions inside. And this is the 1x variant. And we of course got the 8x variant, which easily can be shorted down to 4x if you need to. We got the applique variant, which, well, applique is basically a little bit cheaper. But the reason why we even have the applique variant is that it has higher AP protection. So for interior armor against fragments and stuff like that, in some circumstances it can be better, usually not, but yeah, it's cheaper. It's half the cost. Yeah, it's about half the cost. It's better than nothing. Right, then we have the heavy armor, and here is where we are starting to get some intricate design. So the heavy armor is it's not consisting of just heavy armor. Like, the thing is with heavy armor, the heavy armor is so darn expensive, so that it's not really worth using it to defend laser components. They are simply not valuable enough. But they are of course valuable. So for 2,600 materials, you can protect 8 meters using metal ducts, heavy armor shell of a min-maxed capacity, and this is set up to armor from side to side. It has limited armor from the top and bottom. So you know, if you make a broadsider that only faces one side to the enemy, you can remove armor on one of the sides potentially to save cost. But you could also, if you have an airship, I don't know, get some other armor that's light. In any case, we also have the standard armor, which is a kind of good trade-off. So for 1,000 materials, you can provide decent protection for 8 meters of laser components. You can see we're using minimal use of heavy armor, so this is 2,000 health. This block is also 2,000 health. So anything that comes from the side has to deal more than 2,000 damage to get through and hurt anything. And a lot of fragments and secondary things won't do that, and stray sandblast shots and stuff like this won't get through either. And that's kind of the point, to protect the laser lines. Right. That is the armor pieces. Now we go to now we're gonna go to the coupler section. So we have the Age Tetris and the I Tetris. The I Tetris is better set up for Q4 systems and like different pulses basically. So I'm gonna place this. So we are going to make it, click the G key to G key like in Gunnar to place it forwards like this. So this is the I system, and the I Tetris stands for inline, and the I Tetris is really good for, like, you know, any type of Q system. When it comes to the Age Tetris, it really shines with my favorite type, which is Q. I'm gonna actually place this in the open so we can see it a bit better. But it shines in the Q0, my favorite. We can build this line. Yeah, I don't know. Let's build it here. But it's possible. It works pretty well with Q1, like this. And Q2, we're starting to get interesting, because now it gets one block thicker, to be honest, to even allow for a connection, and that's true for the Q1 too. Q3, we're starting to get some interesting shapes, and Q4, I mean, it works, but then you have to provide some more free space to some blocks, because remember, when lines are using only intensifiers, the frequency doublers, they still need to have the same Q value. So the age system, you probably understand why this is called the age Tetris. Age like in just kidding. You can see here we have like an age, but it's only these 5 that are used for connections. So all of these 5 have to have the same Q value. Right. So then that we have the couplers there. Then we have the laser link. The laser link system is pretty advanced. We have left, right, front, back, up, down, front, back, left, right, up, down, front, back, left, right. Did you get that? So if you select a right one, for example, we click G to face it forwards, and we have a kind of this interlocking pattern, right? So we place it there, and then it's locked in. Then I also provided some freeform connections. So for example, if we use the freeform connection, we can place it like that. And the really cool thing with these connectors is that they will be able to connect to things in front of it. And that's why we have this cutout here too, to allow for these connectors to go through. So the freeform system, you actually overlap it by one block like this. So here we can have left, right, and backwards. Or we could actually tilt it like this and give a connection like that. Now this particular block here will actually be unconnected. So in a few orientations, it won't work. This works fine. It's up and back. So the freeform, we have a T connection, we have an L connection, we have an I connection, and we have a 1 connection. And the 1 connection just goes to one direction. So you can see we can make it be a left, we can make it be a right, we can make it go up, and we can make it go down. And this is again overlapping a little bit with the block here. And you might wonder, why do I even have the other type of connections? Well, the thing is, with these types of connections, when we have a left-right preset like this, we can optimize the armor a little bit, so I can use the 3-meter slabs, and I can also include a surge protector. So if an EMP surge would get into the system, they will hit this first before they start to creep down and kill the pumps. So that's kind of the point. And that's why I have them. Because I like to min-max a little bit like that. But if you use the system and only use the freeform variants, I don't blame you. I considered only including the freeform variants for a while, and then I realized I really want the other connections. Here we have some crazy ones, which is like up, down, forwards to backwards. Yeah. Anyways, let us, now that we have a connection, we can go back to connectors and select a, suppose an L connector. And the cool thing with these is that it's really easy to connect up different batteries with each other. Now, I of course need to use a T connector instead. So we can go down here, and we should connect it up to this system. Now they are offset levels, so that's not ideal, but whatever, we deal with that later. Yeah. In any case, the connector is now set, and we should provide a connector for the other one as well. So 4x system, we have, no, 3x system, coupler, we have laser link. We can have a laser link I connector that goes backwards and forwards. That's the freeform. We can just do a little left connection. And now you can see, even though we're overlapping these blocks, which are usually inserted, because this is a Q4 system, in this particular case, they will just not be spawned because they are now blocked by the Q switch. So that's kind of why you have to place the coupler piece before you place the connection piece. Because for some of the things, not all, but for some of them, they will kind of not spawn all the important blocks if you do it the other way around. So start with the couplers, then the connection, and you will get it working every time, not just most of the time. Well, now we're working on different levels, which is absolute jank. So we're gonna do some shenanigans. Not ideal, but this works. Fantastic. So now, just for your ease of view, we're gonna look at the pumps. So go into 3 series and we go to the laser pump section. So we begin with the eye Tetris. The eye Tetris is really simple. We have I almost thought about not including them, but I then realized I want the stats written down. 0 power and 15,000 stored energy, just like that. Then we have 270 power per piece. This is so we can calculate and use the like max amount of force we have available by just knowing I have 5,000 engine power, so I'll need to spawn like 6 of them or less. So this is like, you know, regular min-maxed pump Tetris. And then we have the 240 power needed and 10,000 energy. So kind of a mix of them. Really good for some pulse systems. You need this type of system. And for reasons I probably don't need to explain, when you go over to the Age Tetris, you can't start with the eye connector and then go over to Age Tetris because these 4 corners will now be unconnected. Alright, so let us look at the Age system instead. Here we have 360 power, very intense. So this system now has, here you can see frequency doublers here, here, and here, and here. So this particular beam has an intensity of 238. It's absolutely insane. It doesn't matter how much smoke you bring, this laser will burn you. Yeah. It costs 4,000 though, as I said. They take their toll, the frequency doublers. Then we have a destabilizer included, so we have both intensifier and destabilizer, which brings the intensity of the laser down a bit, but now it's destabilized, so it will unload a lot faster if we add a couple of these ones. Right. Then we also have 360 power, but 2,000 power stored. So this is with some laser storage. The previous modules didn't really use laser storage, and if you want to use a pulse laser, you need some type of laser storage. So it depends. If you use a Q laser like this, you don't usually need to have storage. You can just get away with having pumps, a so-called pump laser. Yeah, and then we have a intense destabilized too. So we have destabilizer and pumps all around. So we basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are equal in like charge. So the really good thing with some of these is that you provide an equal charge power, and this will make it, yeah, it will make it work really well when you're building pulse lasers. And for this module, 360 power requirement and 6,000 energy stored. So we're storing a lot more energy in this, and we have a intensity boost in the middle here. And then we have 10,000 energy stored, but we have 6,000 power requirement. So this is a bit of a longer Tetris. I kind of made this to, I'm just gonna casually remove this. This is a bit of a longer piece, and that is because each of these beams, including the one in the middle, have exactly balanced lasers. Like each of these coppers has an exactly balanced microcosmos, so to say. That's why they're a bit longer, and that's a destabilized variant, and this is a intensified variant, which is well, of course, using frequency doublers. So that is the Tetris, and you can mix and match. And as I said, you can slap like onto this system. You can, from H Tetris, you can go over back to I Tetris. So you can just add a I Tetris piece, and it won't destroy the entire laser. Perhaps make it a bit weird, so to say. Since yeah. Anyways, now we have a Q4 laser combined with a Q0 laser in an interesting mix. Whoops. Now I'm just clicking buttons. Yeah, I think it's time to just burn through. And you can kind of see here we have a green pulse in between. And oh, it already burned through. So yeah, this is quite a powerful laser. You can see one of them has, like the long Q0 laser has 137 intensity, which is pretty insane. A lot of energy stored there. And the sustained damage, which is, well, let's say considerable. We can also check here for this. If we go to the laser system down here, power use. Yeah. For the Q0 laser, we're gonna need 3000 engine power, and for the Q4 laser, we're gonna need, well, 960 engine power. So, oh man. Like, we have a lot of destabilizer components inside of this long rod. Like, this is a mix match rod, of course. And it's just to prove that you can mix and match them all you want. But they are of course made to basically go in here and select what you need and kind of only use that. And if you realize I need that and then just need to slap on some more storage, you can do that too. So it's very compatible like that, and even that you can go from H Tetris to I Tetris. I thought it was a handy system at least, and there it basically is. You know, I think we went through the entire laser system, and before we go over an hour, because I'm gonna do some unnecessary endless rambles, which I'm sure you love, we're going to end this little video burning through this heavy armor block. Isn't that lovely? Well, I hope you enjoyed this little video, and if you did, please leave it a like. If you want these prefabs and not have to copy them yourself from things, you know, you can join the Army of GMODISM or the government of GMODISM, and you have access to them at any tier. Patreon, which is Army of GMODISM, is cheaper. If you want to support the channel with as little transfer fees as possible, well, then the government is your friend. But you can get them from either of them. Yeah, in any case, I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I hope it was interesting and that it could help you to build your own laser systems maybe. So there we have it. The Dice Gesellschaft mit Beschränker Haftung. I don't know what I said there, but I'm sure it's correct German. In any case, thanks a lot for watching. Please like the video and check out the GMODISM channel and the Relaxism channel too for some extra content. There is actually from-depth content on both channels. So I'll say thanks a lot for watching again, and this is your host Eric signing out.